Alright guys, welcome back to another Pokemon Masters video. So today we're going to talk about some of these Gacha 5 stars in the game. And here's the thing with 5 stars, like, a lot of them are really good, but they're also not that easy to pull. So I'm just going to talk about some alternatives that you could use. Although a lot of these alternatives aren't free to play either, you have to pull them as well, but they're like 3 stars, 4 stars, so... Well, I guess some 4 stars might be a bit harder than 5 stars, but for the most part, you know, they could be substitutes for the 5 stars if you don't have them. But before we get into that, let's do our daily pulls as well, see if we could get some 5 stars ourselves, even though I do at the moment all of the 5 stars, but hey, more levels up would be much appreciated. Okay, let's see what we're getting here. Probably nothing. Also, I still need like 3 more 4 stars as well. I think I need Agatha, Seabold, or whatever his name is, and the chick with the chandelier, Chantal. I think that's her name. Oh my goodness, I'm terrible with people's names. Okay, here we go. I think we just got Candace on the other one, which is not the most exciting Pokemon in the world, I would say. Sync pair. All right, let's see who we got on the Liar banner. We didn't get an animation, so not expecting much here. And we got Winona, which that's a 3-star power-up, which I'll take that. And last banner, we got Hilbert and Oshawott. Let's see if we can get pull a dupe of Hilbert and Oshawott here. I think Hilbert and Lyra are the only ones I don't have dupes of. I'm pretty sure. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have a dupe of Phoebe either. I'm not 100% sure. I might have dupe of Phoebe. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have a dupe of Hilbert or Lyra. Okay, so we didn't get any there. So a bunch of potatoes. 3 stars, but you know, I've got a power up, so that's always great. So anyways, let's get into today's topic. So actually, let's go to Dex to, you know, just to make it easier. So let's sort this with, how do you sort this? Can you not sort this? What is it even sorting it by? Oh, there we go, we're good. Okay, so of the 5 stars, we're just gonna talk about the strike, the strike 5 stars, right? And the reason why we're not talking about the support is because support, it's really hard to say, because like supports you really honestly don't need to have 5 stars. Like Phoebe is great, Phoebe's phenomenal, but there are certain replacements for the 5-star supports. Like they're all like, it's not because they're good because they're 5 stars. It's because their moves and all that, right? And a lot of those support moves can be switched around. There's a lot of 3-star supports that are absolutely phenomenal, right? So there isn't really too much of a problem of a disparity in there, but there is a slight disparity with 5 stars and 5-star strikes. And the reason why we're not doing text is there's no text. There's only like 1 5-star tech, and it's a free-to-play one, which is Acerol. So anyways, let's get in this. Let's first start with Treecko. So Treecko is extremely strong. So there's 2, I mean, the Treecko is interesting because Treecko has both physical damage and special attack. So it's gonna be really hard to find replacements for Treecko and Brandon, because you'll have to, you know, find one with a special attack and one with physical, which I guess if you really want to go physical, you could go Ramos, but Ramos kind of sucks. Ramos kind of does suck. And he just does not do nearly as much damage as Treecko does. So we're not going to go with Ramos. So we really don't have a really great physical alternative, I guess. Another one would be Vileplume, but again, Vileplume's a special. And Vileplume's again mostly a tech, so that's also not a really great option. So the only one we got is Gardenia, or Gardenia, and Roserade, which is actually decent. You got like very similar traits here. So you got Dire Hit Plus, which is phenomenal, right? And then you also have Trust in Nature, which Gardenia is really like a budget Treecko. Like it's like the perfect a budget Treecko or budget special attack version of Treecko without the physical attack, right? But Trust in Nature is very similar to Treecko's not Treecko. It was a Kingdra's move as well that lets her invert the lost stats, right? So that goes very well with Leaf Storm. The only thing that Gardenia is missing from that is just a sustaining damage boost with physical attack and special attack, which Treecko does have, which then again can be fixed with a decent support, right? Her special attack stat is really good for the most part, and then Leaf Storm, lots of damage. You got Dire Hit, so it's a really decent, it's a solid alternative for Treecko if you're going for a Leaf Storm special attack, right, for the grass type. So that's for a Treecko replacement. Moving on, let's talk about an Olivia placement. So Olivia, probably one of the best sync pairs in the game. Finding a sync pair replacement for Olivia will be extremely difficult. So Olivia, again, a physical rock type user, and she's just absolutely phenomenal. Like, the replacements that you could find for her are like really stretching it, because like the gap between Olivia and like whatever is next best physical rock type attacker is just incredibly huge. So there are a few options we could go to, I guess. The first one being Signa, Sud, Brock, and Tyranitar, which is a free-to-play unit, and it has really good moves, honestly. X attack is great, and then you have Rock Solid Finisher, which raises defense, makes the next hit sure hit and a critical hit, and also you got Rock Slide, which also has a chance to make the opponent flinch, right? And then you got Sand Fortress, which, you know, stats can't be lowered in a Sandstorm, so if your opponent sync moves you, you're good for the most part. But the biggest problem with Signa Sud Brock is Homeboy's stats are kind of bad. Like, 207 damage, physical attack. That's a yikes, man. That's a yikes. That's not really good. In terms of the sync moves, just a lot of damage, nothing much to see there, but yeah, not that great. I wouldn't say it's that great. It's definitely not on Olivia's level. Like, the moveset is really good. The stats just are really yikes. So I would be expecting Tyranitar to get a Mega in the future, because like, dude, it's T-Tar. It's not supposed to be that bad, right? So maybe it's gonna have a Mega evolution in the future, and that's why the stats are so bad. So after it Megas, the stats will be better, just like Karen and Houndoom, right? So that might be a scenario. The other one folks are kind of talking about is Cranidos, and here's the thing with Cranidos. Recoil. It's got like okay-ish attacks. You got X attack again, which is really great, and then the helmet move, right? It's a sure hit, gets move gauge refills, right? Head smash, a lot of damage. You're doing a lot of damage. The recoil, and it really doesn't have like as buff stats or as much HP, I would say, as say Emboar or Zebstrika. So this is a yikes one. Like, it's gonna be a nuclear bomb when this thing drops, for the most part. Still not as great as what Olivia could do, but still, for, you know, for a 3-star, a lot of damage, but you're probably gonna get taken out in the process as well, just because of how recoil works in this game. So I guess you could use Cranidos, but it's, you know, it's kind of stretching it. High risk, high reward. Not even that high reward, just high risk, I guess. And as for the other rock types, they're kind of meh. I mean, I guess you could use Grant and Mora. Like, again, for Grant and Amora, it's a tech, right? So you're not going to be using it to do too much damage output. It has like no damage increasing moves. That's not what it's here for, right? It's here to like just make your opponent flinch for the most part, or slow them down with Rock Tomb, right? So it really isn't here to do damage. The damage between Grant and Olivia is absolutely like comically large, right? So that's one for Olivia. So moving on, let's talk about Blue. So Blue is interesting. So you got two options basically. You got a lot of people like Toucannon a lot, but I'm not too sold on Toucannon. Like, Toucannon has really good physical damage stats, and then it has X attack, and then second wind is nice too. The next attack is guaranteed crit, and it also endures, so it's not gonna get one shot right before it uses its move. which is Beak Blast, which is not that great a move, honestly. Like, sure, it has a decent damage stat for only 2 gauges, but like, that's the extent of this move, and like, it takes 2 turns, so yeah, like, if it only had like a decent move, it would have been better. And the other part is, it really, like, when you compare it to Blue, Blue is a special attacker, and this is a physical attacker, so like, the targets, the opponents you're targeting is very, very different, so there's that as well. So that's why I wouldn't really put her up as good as a Blue replacement. But you know, she's still not terrible. But the other one we actually have as an option would be a Pelipper, and Winona and Pelipper, which is a tech, but she has okay stam. Like, the biggest problem with her is just her base damage, so you probably would need a support to buff up her damage quite a bit to you know, deal more damage. And she works a bit better in a team, right? Because you do have Rain Dance, so you could also have another striker take advantage of that, right? And Pelipper is great because, like, it's hilarious. Like, Toucannon has the stats, and then Pelipper has the moves. You got Hurricane, which is great, and especially when you have Rain Dance, so Hurricane doesn't miss. That's 151, right? And she just doesn't have as good as of a base stat as Blue, right? When after it, like, even before it Mega evolves into Mega Pidgeot. Again, 156 special attack, not the greatest. Air Slash, like, literally the same moves as Mega Pidgeot, for the same damaging moves. As for this, greatly raises speed. It's great. You know, Hurricane is a 3-bar move, so there's that. The Sync move doesn't do as much damage, but if your opponent is flinching, which you could use with Air Slash, but then again, unless you're really just going for the flinching, if you don't have Blue and this is like your only flying DPS, most of the time you probably would be using Hurricane, although Air Slash isn't a terrible option either. So it really depends on the situation, right? So, and the passive skill charges move gauge quicker when the weather is rainy with the speed increase. Yeah, you would not have to worry about your move gauge when using Hurricane for the most part with Winona. So she makes up for the base stat by throwing out more Hurricanes than Blue can throw out, I guess, just because of how quickly her move gauge fills. So there's that going for her. But again, crappy base stats, what can you do, right? So moving on to the next one, let's talk about Chris. So Chris, water type, physical. This is kind of yikes because most of the other water type Pokemon are actually special, like Clawitzer and Berry here, right? And Berry's not terrible, but like the biggest problem with Berry is Berry has pretty underwhelming stats, and the moves also kind of suck. So there's that as well. I mean, the stats aren't as terrible as, say, like a tech type unit, but then again, it's a striker. The stats should be like slightly better. Even at, you know, Empoleon, it's not that great. So, and your moves don't do that much damage, honestly. So there's that as well. Like, no hesitation, raises the user's crit, but like, you're raising speed, which, my dude, like, you only have 2 gauge moves. A 2 gauge move and a 1 gauge move with Bubble, right? So I don't want to disrespect Bubble Boy like that, but that's not a good replacement. Also, you know, Blues, or not Blue, Berry is special. So Crasher Wake is actually really decent. I know I've been hyping up Crasher Wake a lot recently, but hear me out. Crash drastically raises users' attack and special attack, right? Use that twice, you're at max. And then you got Dire Hit Plus. 2 of those, you're critting every single time. You don't even need 2 of those. Like, just using it once is like 80% chance to crit. And then you got Waterfall and Water Pulse, which again, the biggest problem with Crasher Wake is base stats, and these don't do as much damage. But Waterfall is an interesting move, right? You can make the target flinch, which is always fun. And again, this is the only other water physical option, so what can you do? Also, you got advantages when you're working in the rain with the move gauge passive. And aggravation, aggravation, it also helps with the flinching and confusion, right? So that's always good, I guess. You know, it helps with its whole kit, right? So moving on to the last one, Karen and Houndoom. Can't really do much with this one. If you need a really solid special attacking dark type, no, there really is none. It's just Karen. It's just Karen. You either have to get Karen or you're screwed on that front. But on the bright side, you don't really need Karen for too many events at the moment. She isn't really useful, so you got that going for her. Like the only other like dark type striker slash tech unit is like a Lowland Persian, which again, it's first of all, it's a physical attacker with bite, which is kind of yikes. Like terrible damage and it's terrible base damage and just terrible, you know, power on bite. So you really got nothing going for another option for a dark type physical or special attacker. So it would do us pretty good or really good if we could get another, you know, 4-star, 3-star option in the future or free to play option. So that would be nice. But again, that's made it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would really like some more 4 stars, 3 stars, just to, you know, just for the folks who can't pull like 5 stars. 5 stars, obviously their rates are pretty low. So 4-star, some, you know, decent 4-star backup options, that's always great. So that would be pretty cool. So anyways, again, that's made for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.